All right, good morning, everybody. I wasn't quite ready for that. I didn't mean to hit the button, but here we go. There ain't no reason to start it over again. Floors are doing really good, getting back upwards, not near like the 90 plus that they were. That was a little bit much. Um, but they're getting like this morning it was warm, like no covers kind of warm. And that's really nice. For it being like 20 degrees outside. Here coming up, it's going to be below freezing in the day and really below freezing at night. We had like one crazy weather forecast that was calling for like -9 or something. That's gone, thank goodness. Does it happen? Yeah. It's just the atmosphere coming over the mountains. Every once in a while, we get really crazy cold weather up here. Um, some days is what I'm trying to get at. There's times that it does happen. Um, the wood stove, we got wood in, we got the ashes cleaned out. That's ready to go, but it's not hooked up yet. I was trying to like explain that the other day. Without the little flapper, you can't stop the draft, and to be honest, you really don't like want to. But as soon as you hook it up, then it's like a big vacuum that's just sucking the air up and out the chimney. Um, so you got to like burn it more often. Until I need it, I don't really want to hook it up, and I don't want that little flapper thing in there. I know a lot of people use them here in the mountains at 10,000 feet, and when it gets really cold, the chimney will fill up with cold air, and it's hard to get that to move, is what it is. I mean, like it's physically plugged, even though it's not frozen, it's just physically plugged. If you've ever been here, tried to light a fire, you get what I'm saying. If you've not, that's going right over the top of your head like, hell, heat rises, boy, I mean, one of them. Um, it's another good trick here, whether you know it or not. Even some people here is what I'm trying to get at. If you use the high grade alcohol, that highest like red labeled one, or Everclear works. Same thing is what I'm trying to get at. And get like a paper towel, just put it in a little like a squeegee or a squirt bottle is what I'm trying to get at, like a little squirt bottle. Is I buy the little quarts and just poke a pinhole through the top. Is I open it up and just I don't even take the seal off is what I'm trying to get at. I poke a pinhole through the seal so it just squirts a little spray, and that what it is that the alcohol burns so intensely hot, and it doesn't give off like horrible crap. I mean, in the beginning that it'll help that draft if you do use that little flapper. If you don't use the little flapper, it's just going to make a really good fast fire is what I'm trying to get at. Just FYI, alcohol works better than any fuel is what I'm trying to get at. And it's much safer because it don't explode. Just FYI, just one of them. We brought the sand in, or I did. That I don't know. I don't got no pockets. I didn't got no mouses. But brought the sand in, and it's going to go up in this little doohickey here. Is where that pan is right now. There, it needs to be full of sand. Is the oh yeah, that's what it was. Is I think I fixed the problem or the issue with. Let's move over here. With the doodad, it is no longer flickering. It's no longer acting silly. And all it was is I was asking for more than 3,600 watts, like on a fairly routine basis, and it was just like knocking it down a notch electronically, because it's shifting electronically when you go through the program, the basic in and out here, and then ask for what voltage you wanted the voltage regulator set at. It's all electronics is what I'm trying to get at. But I wasn't paying attention. The load for the hot water tank is 2,000. The coffee pot is 1,000 ish. This little doodad is like 1,800, but normally it's plugged to the other circuit. Okay, But I've had it in different places or whatever, and I was the little inverter was just doing more than it could for as long as it could, and then it would knock itself down to the next lower voltage so it could do more. You know what I mean? It was only doing what it was like programmed to do is what I'm trying to get at. Keeping it at like a dead on 2000, and that'll go up to about 2800 when the refrigerator freezer kick in. And that's what I wasn't like thinking of, because I never saw them running on the meter or paid attention. I was just going on what the meter, and then just not looking for that cap, that compensation. When it was lower, like it is now, it doesn't happen. I knew I hated saying that about that. They're really good. They're really good, robust 24 volt in between inverters. They're not 12 volt, but they're not 48, but they're robust little dudes. This is the same board. The same manufacturer produces both the board, everything. They just have different distributors. This one here, they screwed me over on I went to buy a 220, and they screwed me over is what it came down to. They were waiting right till the final day and then say, oh, we can't take it back, blah, 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 because we didn't get it fixed or whatever. That was pretty crappy is what I'm trying to say, is what they did. Not Amazon. Amazon gave me the money. They took the thing back, gave me my money, put it back in the Visa. All is good with Amazon. It was the distributor to this one. I'll buy another one. It's white, just as like this, but it won't be this distributor. Is what I'm trying. So don't think that changed. It did not. Is what I'm trying to get at. This one has never had issue. Like, it performs like a champion racehorse, and they're making quite a bit of power at this minute. 1500. No, yeah. Golly, why did I even say that? 1367. And this one is 3260. No, 3100. The clouds must be coming over, because when they run at full tilt, when it's like sunny or whatever, it's a little over 6,000 combined between the two of them. I cannot say that they haven't performed, because my goodness, have they like workhorses is what I'm trying to get at. Am I gonna either one of these? This one I wouldn't. This distributor I wouldn't consider. But like this distributor, or even the company that makes these, they don't make. Well, they do make a 48 volt one, but the 24 volt one I wouldn't try again. It was just flat ass dead out the box. Quality control does that. I mean, they're manufactured so fast or whatever. Are they all hooked up and run through, like up and down? No, they're not. Like 1 out of 1,000 is done that way, where it's physically tested. The rest are just assembled and put in the box and sold. That's just how quality control is. They don't test each individual one. They might test each individual component that they might use at some point, but not the whole unit, is what I'm trying to get at. That I'm pretty sure of. I might be wrong. Now, I'm not saying that I couldn't be completely wrong on that. I'm just saying I'm pretty sure of that. And you can tell how much brighter it is, y'all. That's just the sun coming in from yonder. Wow, that's crazy out there. I was just wanting to make that correction, that I think I found my issue, and it was me. I was just going well over, when the freezer and the refrigerator would kick in, it was going well over the rated power is all it was. And hey, it never shut off, so you gotta give it credit for what it is. I mean, it was just doing the best it could, and that's what it was. Hazelnut coffee is good today, y'all. Yep, it is good today. And it's nice to have the sun heating the floor. It's heating this little doodad too, but it don't get hot enough to even hurt nothing. I think I mentioned the other day, is I've been looking at a 220 volt inverter, or to replace this one with another. If it was, the reason I was looking is because this voltage regulator was acting crappy. It's not. It was me. But now I'm probably just looking at a 220, so I can do the voltage switching on these elements and stuff like that. Make this one more usable, higher heat, and make that one maybe even swap it out. But that's more money than I want to spend right now. But for another tank with two elements is what I'm trying to get at. If I can get a little bit more out of this is 80, 90 degrees-ish right now. If I could hold that like through the night with batteries, and then do a voltage trick where I lowered the voltage on the element, that would be better is what I'm trying to get at. Better for me, cheap is what I'm trying to say. Not better, it'd be kind of hokey as hell. But it would work is what I'm trying to get at. Electrically wise, it would work. And let's not get ahead of ourselves, because I don't have the other inverter, and I don't have more batteries, and I don't would another string of these new monocrystals help? Oh yeah, wow. Oh, that's what I was going to say too, is the design on the rack in the back is perfect. I'll show that picture for the thumbnail of this thing. Front ones were covered up, and there was a little bitty line of solar panels, all you could see. The back ones were perfectly clear. Are they in the best for like in the summertime? No, but here we get such intense solar that you don't want your panels. I've tried to explain that before. You don't want your panels at like 23 or 24 degrees here in the summertime. That's way too much. I mean, for any inverter I've owned so far. They do make bigger inverters, but I've not owned them yet, is all I'm trying to get at. This one here maxes out about 4,200. The panels max out about 5,000. So they're making power at 9 a.m. in the summertime kind of thing. It is, I don't know what it would be now. The time just changed is what I'm trying to get at. Like, they're making power at maybe 8 o'clock now, all the way until 3 o'clock. This one, not so much. This one, 10:30, 11 in the morning, and it will tap out now about, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll just, it'll be dwindling down is what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, we got the new design. Wonderful. I don't know how structural it's going to be through the wind. We've only had like 30, 40 mile an hour wind. And here, that is not wind. That's just a nuisance. That's just, the spot between 12 mile an hour and 60 mile an hour. Yeah, it's crazy. We do get wind and we get dust. Both of those we get a lot of. Am I going to get a windmill? No. Not even if it pisses off Donald. I ain't going to go that far. I've thought about it, though. I'll be honest. I've thought about it. Few neighbors have them, except they look like they're having more problems with them than they are good with them. That's the only reason that I am not, like, running out there to do it. I did look at one company. They made, like, mid-size, like, small professional. I would go that route, but the price is so, like, compared to solar, what? Forget it. I'll get double the solar and still make power in the clouds. Y'all, you wait till you see this picture, the thumbnail. Look back at it. There's so much clouds, you can't see the mountain. And that mountain's only a mile up. It's not even a mile away from my house is what I'm trying to get at. You can't see that big rock, and that's the biggest rock garden I've ever seen in my life. But that's just the level of cloud that we were in, and those panels were producing like 4,000 watts. It's insane what they can do, even in the heavy clouds. Is it like that all the time? No. The clouds can get so dense that it even blots out the bifacial. I mean, they'll get down to like 1,000 watt. Out of the 5,000 total possible, they'll get down to about 1,000 in the super heavy cloud. But other than that, they do pretty phenomenal. Even through that 7-day window of heavy clouds that we had, batteries were always full. I always had enough for like coffee and cooking, and like I said, I was the one using so much power, I was jacking with the voltage regulator on the thing. It wasn't like I was taking it easy on what I could do, because these batteries have a Bluetooth app, and because they're in parallel with the other ones, I know what it is by as much as a battery monitor would. But I don't know what these. I can tell you each individual cell what the voltage is. Those I can only tell you what the battery is, like a battery monitor. And they were doing. They were like 80%, 85%, 82%, all through that 7 days. And we didn't get no relief except for one glimpse in the afternoon. We had a few hours. The rest of it, it was pretty white up here. But yeah, yesterday's snow and all that, wow, that was something good. The power that it made, even through the clouds, the snow, everything. The rack, the design on the rack was perfect. Like I said, the front ones were covered, and normally I'd have to get out there and sweep it with a broom, and because they're double stacked, I could only sweep the bottom, and that would only like give me half of the voltage at half of the wattage at half of the amperage. It pretty much sucked, is what I'm saying. But it still worked. Is what I never went without power, and I've turned the generators off and this on. Well, it's the old stuff, like you can't even see it over here, is the old stuff off, this new stuff on. December 4th, 2019, I've used no petroleum anything. Electric heating, electric range, electric cooker. I'm going to get like a toaster oven, fancy toaster oven thing. Air fryer with a rotisserie. I want it for the rotisserie. It is an air fryer gizmo with them infrared heater lights in it. It does the wash machine, the refrigerator, the pumps for the floor, the heating of the floor, the hot water for the shower, the pumps for all that. It does it all, y'all. No generator. I don't even have generators hooked to these things. There's no generators in the circuit. This is one going out to feed. This is the other one going out to feed into the main ground link is what I'm trying to get at. The same thing. You got one going to one feed, one going to the other feed. There's two outputs to each one of these inverters. There is no at all generator going up into it, no outside power. I'm like, I used to say 8 miles, but it's different. They brought power in like that direction of me, and now it's closer. It's like 4.5 miles I'm away from power. No intention or no interest in getting on power and paying 30 cents a kilowatt, none of that. The floor alone is, last month it put in 608, which in Arkansas would not be that much. Now it's 770. It would be about $80 worth of electricity that went into the floor last month to keep it hot. And it did extremely. I slept with most of the doors open most nights for last month. This month, different. I even slept underneath the covers a couple days in that cloudy weather. Now we're back up on top of the covers again. So is it working? Yeah. Will it work through like when the days are like at 0 and the nights are like stupid cold? No, it just physically can't do that. But that's what the Beastie's for, in the wood. That handles that kind of weather with no problem. It's just now, like where it's 20 degrees to fire this thing up, you got to have the front doors open. I mean, like open. You can't. It's well, you could fire it for a short time, like an hour, like hour and a half, as long as you didn't go over that. But if you fire it for like twice a day, an hour and a half, it'll build up so much heat, it'll run you out. Like you want the doors and windows open. There's a reason why there's no batting on the back window or whatever. It's so I can open it up when I fire the Bad Andy over here. And I open up the elevator shaft where it goes upstairs so it can exchange the air out. It burns pretty warm, y'all. It is made for hemp stock. That's what it's designed for. There, you can get higher temperature stainless steel, but as far as like sheet steel, the 304 is plenty heavy enough, and it's heavy gauge sheet steel. But if you want to go crazy, you could go like 310, 309, something like that. That's high end heat for the actual stove, the burner, and all that. I've made it cherry red. I've never made it like anything more. But that is enough to, like mild steel or carbon steel, it'll crystallize it. You could just crunch it like it was rusty. Pretty intense heat difference is what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, it works good. And but this Bad Andy here is for the ugly Iron Man. You can't see it anymore because it's buried in concrete. But it's for when it gets like dumb cold up here. You can go, like in the wintertime, it's so frozen outside that the tracks over here doesn't drag nothing in. And if you see, every time that you go out, it brings in muck and mud. That's sand, it's not muck or mud. But that's what makes this big-ass pile. And like I said, just keeping up with this doodad. I used to have a vinyl cutter machine, and I would make labels for this thing and call them tracks. I really would, because that's exactly what he does. He makes tracks outside, inside. I can see any animal or any person or anything that walks across my yard because it looks like a digital ground because of this. It just makes them little. I don't leave footprints, you know what I'm saying? And this is the only print that's out there other than the chickens. And so I can see like wolf or animal or elk or anything, any little track that walks across the yard. It's easily identifiable which way they're going. They're really clear because of the funky pattern of the tire. But henceforth the name tracks. Yeah, and without it, I couldn't live here. This is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful machine. I would like to design something bigger, more like to go over rougher stuff or whatever, and possibly put like golf cart tires on this where they're smooth. You know, they make golf cart tires with the lines, and they make golf cart tires with like nothing. I want the ones with nothing. I think they call them beach tires or something. I don't remember what their name is. But a golf cart tire that's smooth, so it doesn't bring in the tracks, because it's flat here. It is four-wheel drive. It doesn't need a lot of traction to do what it does. But it does it really good, y'all. Okay, well, that is a long talk this morning, y'all. I hope y'all, well, if nothing else, hear me out about the alcohol starting the fire. You'll appreciate that one. On a little paper towel. But yeah, it really does work for starting the kindling quick. You don't even need much alcohol, just enough to make it damp, not like sloppy wet or nothing. Okay, yeah, and the floor is doing good. 770 kilowatt, and that's combined. I didn't reset it from the 12th. So on the 12th of December, we'll look at it again and see how much, get the average between the months. But like this month and next month, will be the lowest for the solar that we get, and then it'll get back. The angle on the solar panels is 45 degrees, and that's what helped them shed all that snow, even while it was packed on the front panels. The back panels were making power. And they even worked better that day because the white was bouncing off of everything. They really made a lot of power that day. From even in the clouds, it was crazy the amount of power they made with the snow on them or on the ground. They were clean, but it made a difference. Well worth their money is what I said. Well worth that money. They were 134, I think, a piece, and that was delivered here. Maybe don't hold me to that. Maybe they were a little bit more than that. Not much. In a used panel, like the ones in the front, go for 100 a piece. Used. You can't compare that. It's just not comparable. Yeah, the performance is wonderful too. All right, guys. Talk to you then. I hope you have a big day, better tomorrow. Happy trails, toodaloo, and all that stuff. And good luck with all your experimenting and all your DIYing and all the stuff that you do and all your making. The builders out there. I hope every one of y'all, hope to have you a really good day. All right. Talk to you then. Bye.